And so he has left there. So that God now turned to him after he deceived man, after he led man into disobedience. The Lord turned to him and placed a curse on him. He said, upon thy belly shalt thou crawl all the days of your life, and dust you will do what? You will eat for it. Of Genesis chapter 3. I'm trying to join a lot of things here, so follow me. Verse 15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. He shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Now this is the antidote God kept. He announced the solution before he told serpent what his food was. Dust was not his original food. Move to verse 19. God now turned to man who disobeyed. He said, in the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground, for out of it was thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return. So as God turned to Adam and he said, for dust thou art, God answered the question in the heart of the serpent. Oh, so this is my food. So this is my food. And so everywhere the serpent finds the fallen man, he comes to feed. Every time he sees, because he is under a curse, if he finds dust in your life, he will come to eat. And what that means is that you don't tell him what to eat. If he finds dust, he will come. He will be the one to choose. So sometimes, because he has found dust in your life, what he will come to eat might become your health. He can come to feast on your finances. He can come to bring death. He's feasting. He's feeding on dust. And then before you will quickly say, the devil is a wicked devil. Every time he shows up, he's being wicked. Sorry. As far as the fallen man is concerned, as far as the corrupt earth is concerned, the devil is under a curse, and the supreme one cursed him. It is required of him to obey. Every time he feeds on dust, he's not being wicked, he's only obeying a curse. He's only obeying a curse. So when you see wickedness entrenched in a place, he's what? Obeying a curse. All he needs to do is to find dust. Anything that looks like the works of the flesh, it is called dust. And so he can leverage on that and finish an entire lineage. He can leverage on that and finish a man with tongues on your mouth. If you produce dust, he will come to feed. So dust, works of the flesh, it is the tool that Satan uses to enter even into the life of the believer and finish the believer as if it is what? Loaf of bread. Like I said, the Lord kept the antidote there. And at verse 15, if you check it, he said, there will be enmity between thy seed and the seed of the woman. He didn't say the seeds of the woman. He said the seed of the woman. And that is speaking of Christ, that our escape route is what? Is through Jesus. And so, Colossians chapter 2 verse 15 made it clear of how we can escape. In case you are not aware, every time you produce dust, like I said, he comes to feast. The Bible says, wherever the carcass is, that is where the vultures will gather. So they will come. However, we come back to verse 15. Will come. If there is hatred in your heart, if there is unforgiveness in your heart, now does it sound like the work of the flesh? Now that is dust. If he can find that one, is enough legal ground for him to start feasting on your destiny. It's enough for him to start feasting and feeding on your life. You don't tell him, if he comes, you don't tell him, eat this one, don't eat this one. No, he will choose what to eat. You prepare table for him And sometimes what we go through, like I've said many times, we're not the ones that produced the dust. Our forefathers did. And I will show you how they did that. So the Bible says in Colossians chapter 2 verse 15, can you help me? Can you help me quickly? I didn't know I would come this way. I wanted to maintain a particular matter before we continue. And give me from verse 14. From verse 14. This is the solution. Blotting out the handwriting of ordinances that was against us, which was contrary to us, he took out of the way, nailing it to his cross. 15. And having despoiled, what translation is this? And having spoiled, I need NIV of this particular matter. This night we don't have plenty time, but I want you to know that it's a brutal night. NIV. And having disarmed the powers and authorities, he made a public spectacle of them, triumphing over them by the cross. He said, you will bruise his heel, and he will do what? Bruise thy head. So what? He disarmed principalities and powers. It looks as if they were the ones that armed him. They arrested him. Then they tied him. It looks as if they were the ones. But in the real sense of it, it was the reverse case. And so while he was hanging on the cross, they felt that they had won, unknown to them that he was the one that won. And so you remember how they dealt with him. They bruised his body. It was on the cross. As he was hanging on the cross, he brought them under his authority. He subjugated them. Look at it. And having disarmed powers. What does it mean to disarm? To disarm means you collect their weapons. Their ability, that ability to deal with men, that ability they have to bring men into captivity. He said he removed it. He disarmed them. So can I announce to you that if you are in Christ and you are on the cross, the principalities and powers you are afraid of, the weapon to do you harm has been taken away. The ability to feed on you has been taken away, but your ignorance can become a lead way for them to deal with you. Having disarmed principalities and powers, he made a public show. Where was the public show? The public show was that both friends and foe, enemies and friends, brothers and mothers gathered, and everyone saw the way he was hanging there. It was a public show. Now when he said triumphing over them, he said by the cross, he triumphed over principalities and powers by the instrument of the cross. Now in the Roman setting, when the emperor, if his soldiers, if they deal with his enemy and capture the enemy, what they will do is that to show that the king, the emperor, has triumphed over you, they will naked the man that they've caught. Naked him, tie his hand to a horse, and they will ride the horse as people gather to watch. It is called triumph. So that Jesus on the cross tied the hands of principalities and powers, and then he made a public show of them, tied them, and he triumphed over them. Can I tell you something? The devil you are afraid of is under the feet of Jesus. So every time he comes to fight a believer, he's not coming to fight because he's sure that he will win. He fights you hoping that he might win. Oh, you didn't get me. The devil fights in hope that he might win a believer, not with the assurance that I'm going to win. But when we fight knowing that we have won. So what we are doing is Jesus has fought the major fight. We are fighting pockets of battles. Pockets, small battles. They attack our health, we hit it. They attack your home, you hit it. They touch your brother, you fight. Now what you are doing is that you are trying to appropriate the victory on the cross. That is why when Jesus said it is finished, it is not battle that he said it is finished. It is that sin, the dominion of sin, the power of sin, the penalty of sin has been paid. And I need you to know that even on that cross, he's saying to you that your contention over the devil, there is now a solution to it. Even though he's under a curse to feed on dust, if you hang on the cross, he cannot feed on you. That's the victory. That's the victory. A believer shouldn't die anyhow. Some struggles are necessary. Some pains are necessary. But I need you to know that because of this he has done, when the devil comes around, we have the right to do what? To deal with him. And so, he's still moving. And the Bible says, is it Ephesians chapter 4, verse 27? It said, give the devil no room. Give him no room. So even though this has been done to him, he is still looking for opportunity. He comes in the morning, he comes at night, he moves everywhere, looking for opportunity to exercise dominion that he does not have. But you know what Adam did? By allowing and cooperating with him, Adam gave him the earth. He now have some level of authority over the earth to influence things. So much so that even creation is in groanings. Did you follow me to this point? Can I hear you? Are you here? Are you here? So he tries to subdue, and then to prove to you that he was in control. Guess what he said to Jesus when he took him to the mountain? He said, look at it, behold the glory. If you can bow, I will give it to you. You don't give what you don't have. No, you don't give what you don't have. If Adam was in charge of the garden by keeping the garden, we wouldn't have been in this matter. But thank God for Jesus. He came. Because if you check Revelation chapter 5, when they were looking for who to open the scroll, and then John was crying and crying and crying and crying. One of the 24 elders said, cry no more, for the Lion of the tribe of Judah, he has prevailed to open the scrolls. And at the end of it, he said, and he has made us a kingdom of priests. We are now kings unto our God, and we are to reign in the earth. Go and check it. Dominion still appeared in Revelation chapter 5, and that he said, we are a kingdom of priests unto our God, and we will reign on earth. We are reigners. We are not meant to be subjugated. We are not meant to be subdued. We are not meant to be placed under. We are designed through Christ again to return back to what God, the original design of God, where he said, dominate, subdue. So as I raise my matters, I want you to also see the victory side of it. There is the victory side of it. And so on account of that window, that ability that this Satan have to manipulate the earth, he produced himself. And I hope you know that when he fell from heaven, he didn't fall alone. He came down with 1/3 of the angels. So they are called fallen angels. These are entities that have no body. They don't have bodies, but they look for bodies to live in. That is why when they dealt with that man, the madman of Gadara, over how many thousands of them, they were living in the body of the man, tormenting the man, afflicting the man. He was living among tongues. He was not looking like prophecy. He was looking like the plan of the devil. He was looking like the design of darkness. Or a man that was designed to rule over 10 cities. A man that had capacity by design, by divine ordination. He was to command 10 cities, but because of the fallen demons who came to stay in him, they dominated him. They subdued him. That man, when they tried to bring chains and to bind him, they didn't know that that man was under the influence of something that was beyond time. So he will break it. He was not the one. It is those demons in him. He was breaking it. He was breaking it. He was breaking it. He was breaking it. Bible says he will cut himself with stones and he will be bleeding and crying. Yet he couldn't stop it because something beyond him held him bound. There are people who are going through stuff and you think that this is just an addiction. Can you stop? Can you please stop? They know that it is wrong, but they lack the ability to say no because a power, a force has entered and it is now ready to make them slave. There are several people with tongues on their lips and they are slaves of darkness. tongues on their lips, yet slaves of darkness, captives of darkness. And I'm glad Jesus said, oh, I'll get there, I will get there. Now, is this blessing someone already? Is this blessing someone already? It's the last night. And I want you to cooperate with me as we fire on all cylinders tonight. It took Jesus' arrival for us to see that those demons were more than one. They were more than two. Not one, not two. How Jesus did it was that he asked, what is your name? He said, Legion, for we are many. I have taught on this matter before, so you can check it. Because if I want to stay on it again, we'll be bringing out issues that will travel very fast. So I want to keep it very narrow so that we can focus on the subject matter for tonight. For we are many. And they begged Jesus, say, please, because they don't have body. They need body to carry out wickedness. Demons need body to carry out wickedness. So now that they are about to vacate the space, they have to beg Jesus, don't send us like that. Send us into the swine. There is a business of people. We want to finish their business. If you want to deliver this one, give us the business of these guys. So the devil can come to a place and attack the economy of a nation. He can attack the economy of a people. He can attack the economy of a family. They come in numbers. He said, can you send us? And you know that pig became their business. They became pig raiders. It was because their business was attacked that they said, Jesus, leave our land. Leave our land. So they had to enter the pig, and the pigs ran into the river because they need human body to carry out wickedness. The devil is on a mission, and he's using every window that he has to carry out wickedness. And so because he wants to be in charge of the land that God has said to the man in his image and likeness to subdue, be in charge, keep. You know, I've told you before that the man that kept that instruction of God, his name was Nehemiah. He said, with one hand build, with the other hand hold the sword. We don't build with two hands, we build with one hand. We carry the other hand to hold the sword in case of an emergency. There is always a Sanballat and Tobias who have been possessed by demons to frustrate our labors. So we will not build with our two hands. We will build with one hand. We will hold sword on the other hand. We are here to. The first man God made, we didn't make him to be a civilian. He made him to be a creature of war. And so the devil is still moving around, trying to subdue the earth, corrupt the earth, so that if the earth is corrupted, even you as a believer, you can come under the influence of it. And so you now find out that the devil enters into people. He said, kill. You know, Cain and Abel. He said, kill your brother. Kill him. Kill him. Kill him. Kill him. Anyone that looks like he's going to have authority over the earth, he's going to have influence over the earth, please, can we remove him? Can we remove him? And so he started entering people. In fact, before Judah betrayed Jesus, the Bible said, and Satan entered into him. The moment Satan entered into him, what did Jesus say? That which you want to do it what? Quickly. He will need to enter into a body before he can harm any other person. If he wants to harm a man, he will need to enter another man. If he wants to destroy a land, he will need to enter a man. And so he began to bring out facilities and structures of dominion. How he will be able to dominate, how he will be able to be the one that reverse will be the case, that man will come under his influence. Then you start seeing how people started being manipulating the earth. So terrible that they started trying to see how to host darkness. Some now learn how to host darkness, others are learning how to host God. Oh, how many of you remember Molech? Molech, the god of fertility, right? Yes, Molech was a terrible god. And people now learned, that's how the priests, we're not talking about, at this point I'm not talking about priesthood. I'm not talking about altars. Because if you want to dominate now, where we are, you will need to learn the technology of priesthood, the way of the altar, how to host these mortals, how to host this spirit, this supernatural entity, either negative or the positive supernatural. Because it's about influence, it's about space, it's about land, it's about people. The earth, if it must be subdued, in the negative supernatural, they've also learned how to subdue the earth. So somebody can come. I was trying to talk about the god Molech. You know how Molech is? If you want a spirit to show up in a place, you will need to learn how to host the spirit. You must learn how to do what? Host spirits. Learn how to host spirit. And people do it. For instance, if you want to farm bee, you want to farm bee, what you need to do is produce a beehive. There is a location, there is a place where you need to keep it. I think you have to position it in the sunset and not in the sunrise. All right? Or maybe you keep it in the sunrise so that as the sun is setting, the effect will not be one of it. But what you need to do is that having prepared the beehive, you now want bees to come to start producing honey, because you want to start farming honey. You want to start farming bee to produce honey for a community or for a targeted market. As you have located the place, now you want to attract bees to start coming. What you need to do fast is to go and look pineapple. Bring pineapple, cut it, keep it there. When you keep it there, one bee will stroll and see it, and then it will communicate the other, because they are social insects. It will communicate the rest, say, there is a place here for us, prepared, and then they will come. In case you don't know, if you were farming cassava there before, and you are not aware that somebody has come to put a bee hive there, the bees will gather. When you try to use your hoe on a stick, they will fire you, because a man invited them. The man that brought them knows how to protect himself around that area. But you don't know, you will now become a victim of it. Men host demons. Men can invite them. You prepare a place to host them. I remember growing up, a young lady where age brackets. Somehow, suddenly in the village, they say, guy, this spirit is calling this guy. They say, what do we need to do? They say, this kind of spirit. How she will need to bring the spirit home and start cultivating the spirit is that she will need to go to the river. She bought basin, white basin, took it to the river. They fetched water and did all their incantation and rituals. Carried the basin and put it on the lady's head. Can I tell you something? The demons began to run with the girl, make the girl run. The basin, the water will not drop. The basin will not fall without her holding it. She'll be going like this, going like this, going. At that point, they sing a song. It is the deity that carries me. I cannot carry the deity. Carry it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Then they bring it home and then build a place. They've been able, with that kind of ritual, that is how to bring that kind of spirit to that land. Because at this point, the spirit will need to come and start exerting dominion and start exerting influence over that life and over the people in that enclave. Molech. You know what they do? If you want to host Molech, build a metal like a human being sitting down. Then they will heat it. It will become very hot. The hand will be like this. Then everybody, you will bring your baby and put your baby in the hands of Molech. The baby will be burning and crying. If you want to invite Molech, the baby will be burning and crying as they are dying. That thing they were doing, if you begin to do that, you are now appealing to the spirit of Molech. So Molech can now come and stay there. At that point, you are now hosting Molech. So every festival, if you want to make sacrifice to Molech, you bring a baby, heat up that metal, and the metal will begin to kill the child. Then you begin to introduce the influence of Molech in the land. And so they were not the ones, the first that started it. God told Moses. Let me show you from scriptures. God told Moses, Exodus 25, from verse 8 to 9. If you are still with me, say, I'm here. Is this journey interesting tonight? There is a place I'm going to, that when we arrive at that point, it will be clear to us that we are in need. We are in the middle of war. We are in the middle of a battle that we cannot drop our weapon right now. Carry your sword. Show me. And let them make me a sanctuary that I may dwell among them. Next. According to all that I showed thee, after the pattern of the tabernacle and the pattern of all the instruments thereof, even so shall ye make it. Listen, there is a pattern, you will need to build it. If you don't build it, you will not see him. If it's not according to pattern, so there is a way you want to host bees. If you don't do it like that, bees will not gather. So God is saying that I want to come and be in the midst of my people, but for me to come, you will need to build. So altars create an atmosphere for spirits to travel, to change location without feeling that they change location. So when you build according to pattern here, God said, I will come and dwell. He will leave heaven without knowing that he has changed location. Because what is available is what is available here. So he will come here and it's looking as if I'm still in heaven. And so all of his influences will now be exerted over that place. So altars make spirit change location without actually knowing that they've changed location. All you need to do for them is to create an atmosphere. And that's why it's called the way of the altar. You prepare the altar according to pattern, so that you can bring the influence of God in your home, bring the influence of God in your territory, on your street. You host God. He said, prepare it that way, that I will dwell in the midst of my people. So Abraham understood that principle so well that every land Abraham enters, he erects altars. Everywhere he enters, he was always in the business of erecting altars and building tents. Excuse me, have you noticed that? Abraham erected altar and he built tent. Abraham was building tents and he was erecting altars. Right? He will build altar and he will erect tents. Rather, he will build altar, he will erect tents. You are designed to build what will sustain not only you. Can I tell you, the effect of altar is transgenerational. The effect of altar is transgenerational. Altar lives longer than the person that builds it. What sustains you in a place is not the building. A lot of people, what they build tents, and they have no structure called altar. And so because you live in a place and what you are thinking of, you say, yes, the Lord said we should dominate this market. What's the most happening market around here? Can you tell me? Itam market. You say, no, I'm a believer. We are meant to dominate. I will rule. In this Itam market, I will rule. And then you went to Onitsha. You bought plenty goods and brought it there. Before you know it, your goods will catch fire. It will burn on the way. You bring it, people will not patronize you. Because all you just know how to do is you only learn business management. You went to business school and then you have positive speaking in your head and say, no, we are meant to rule in this place. Meanwhile, someone in that place who has understood the way of the altar and how to subdue and bring every land under influence, they've gone to one altar and Baba said, carry this thing. When you carry it, walk through the back, count 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. Dig a hole while you are not there. Your eye is not there. Drop it. Cover it with your left leg. Look this way. Spit this way. Pour saliva here. Pour saliva here. And go and sleep. Then the person will be in the room. Just be in the shop. And people are coming, trooping in. You that your own, you've learned excellence. Your own business, if they come to your shop, nobody should feel like going. But they will go to this one whose business, his shop looks like mushroom. And his goose is selling. The reason is because he has gone to a realm that is beyond you. A realm you have failed to travel to. Real sense of it, where the person is going to is not beyond the second heaven. It's only operating from the second heaven. You have an advantage over that person to travel to the third heaven and bring the influence of the third heaven to your business. And you fail to do it. Now the person is prospering and your business is failing. Because now he has brought spirits that they now stand where you are going. He says, Chinedu, come here, don't go there. Come. This one, whether the product is inferior, there's a voice calling them. And then they troop there. Have you not wondered why two people be selling akara, frying akara, or mama put? You see Okada guys in anywhere they have Okada or Keke guys. they will all gather. All of them will gather in one place and they'll not be in another place. It is that one of them understood the way of the altar. They know how to take charge of land. They know how to exert influence over the place. So because they've done that, what they are cooking might not be tasty, but you see other guys with their plates in their hand. They will be the one to wash and they will wait. Madam, I don't wash my plate. Put for me. Put for me. Put for me. Okay, wait, I can't wait. And you see them queuing. And you'll be wondering, now this woman, the cook pass for here. No, she's not the one that knows how to cook the most. It is that she's the only one that is smart enough to introduce spirits to what she's doing. We rule by altar. We exert influence by altar. And so when men, if a man wants to be in charge of Itam, what they will do is that they say, no, nobody, I want to rise as the most powerful person in the land. What they will now do is that they travel to the second heaven. Remember that we are operating from the third heaven. But if your laziness will not allow you to travel, you will be under the influence of a man that has traveled to the second realm. Then he said, in this place, my farm will be the most productive in this area. Every other farm will not work. If they like, let them cultivate the same thing. Only his own will happen. Only his own will produce more. And then, at the end of the day, he will have more harvest than other people. How? He involved the spirit. And sometimes, what they are doing, in order for them to rule, they destroy other people's home. In order for them to shine, they will destroy other people's home. They don't reason, shine, let us shine. It is, I shine, you go down. As you become dimmer, they become brighter. That is why a lady on our campus had an accident, fractured her legs, broke one leg, the other one was broken. And then my father and the Lord went to pray for the girl and brought her to the house. When he brought her, brethren prayed after they took her from